Hello, I'm Neil Griffiths, a passionate storyteller, a former head teacher, and someone who was lucky enough as a child to have a dad who read to him again and again. Well, thanks to my lovely dad, I've ended up writing 36 children's books. So my whole world has been storytelling. Sadly, we've discovered that many children are not read to by adults. And we know if you're going to get a love of reading, it is vital that particularly your family, there was someone that enjoyed stories with you. Now, don't worry, you might think, oh, I'm not good at it. But by the time I've wagged your tail with Winnie Wagtail, you'll discover that just anybody can read a great story. Right. I am in the mood for a story.
Yay.
Children, can I ask you a question?
What?
Do you have pets?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, have any of you got dogs?
Yeah.
What that case?
My friend does.
Oh, brilliant. Because this is the story about a little puppy. And look, there's her name.
Winnie Wagtail.
Wagtail. It is a story about a puppy that I once had. And his name was Winston. Not Winnie, but Winston, because he was a boy. And when he was little, he was running round and I stood on his tail. And he squealed. And when I looked at his tail, it wasn't like that. Can you do a tail like that? The end had snapped. We rushed to the vet, but the vet said, I can't mend it. It's too tiny. So his tail was always like that. Shall we go, But this is about a little girl puppy called Winnie. And there she is. And Winnie could do what all puppies can do. She could howl. Can you howl?
Howl.
Can you growl? Can you pounce on the floor? Can you bounce? Because she bounced and she bounced and she loved doing what all puppies love to do. She could touch her nose with her tongue.
I can.
Oh, you can! You unbelievable tongue nose toucher. Lovely. Well, Winnie could do that. She could do everything, but children, there's something she couldn't do. She couldn't look. Something had happened. It had got jammed. And little Winnie, she thought, why won't it work? She tried, but all that happened is it was dead still. There was no movement. She tried. Her bottom wiggled, but nothing would happen. Her tail wouldn't go. So she thought, right, I'm going to ask my mum. So off she went. It is. Well, it didn't. Can you see? It's dead still. So she went to see her mum. Well, mums know everything. And she said, Mum, my tail won't wag. But do you know what her mum said? You'll have to be patient. You've got to wait. But she said, but it will wag soon. But Winnie said, I don't want to wait. She wanted to do it now. So she had one more. Still it won't go. Bottoms were going. Tail was still. So she thought, right. And can you do this? She did something terrible. In fact, it's even worse. Can you go, Do you know what she did? She did something. No, you would never do this. She walked off without telling her mum. She went tippy-toe and she went into the field where she saw a horse. But the horse had a gorgeous tail that swished and swished. Can you swish? Go on. Swish. Swish this side. Swish that side. It swished. Oh, Winnie thought, oh, I'd love a swishy tail. So she got her bottom in position. Nothing. It was stuck. And the horse said, don't be silly. It's horses that swish and sway. Puppies wag. Well, Winnie thought, I've been trying. Children, can you go? No, even worse. She went even further away. She went into the next field where there was a donkey. But the donkey's tail, it was so gorgeous. It wasn't swishing. Do you want to know what it was doing?
It was twirling.
So she lined her bottom up. What was her tail like? Show me. Can you go, no? Yes, she actually went into the next file where there was a sheep. But the sheep had a tail.
Wiggled. That twitched.
It twitched and it vibrated. Can we twitch? And can we vibrate? And can we twitch? And can we vibrate? It was the most vibrating tail. And Winnie thought, ooh, I've never vibrated and I'm dying to. So she lined her tail up. Show you what her tail was like. Nothing. Bottom going, tail is still as... This is ridiculous. Children, can you now say, this can't be true?
This can't be true.
She went 3 fields away where there was a cow. But the cow wasn't like the sheep twitching. It wasn't swishing. It wasn't twirling. It did.
Flicked.
Show me a flick. Can you? Oh, look at all your little flickers, you. Keep flicking. And it swatted flies. It swatted 1 fly, 2 flies, 3 flies, 4 flies, 5. It swatted 6 flies. Well, Winnie thought, I love my own little swatter. So she lined up. What happened to her tail?
Dead.
Nothing. They wasn't even limp. It was just jammed. Oh, Winnie, this is disastrous. Children,
It went into the next
this time
field.
can you go? Please don't tell me.
Please don't tell me.
I don't want to hear.
I don't
Because do you know what she did? She did
into
something
the
terrible.
next
What her mum said? Her mum said, do not go down by the stream. She went there. And there was a duck. But the bottom of the duck was gorgeous because it wiggled in the water. Could you stand up?
No.
Show everybody a wiggle in the water. Do your wiggles. Lovely. Sit back down again, you little wigglers. Well, Winnie thought, at least I can wiggle my tail. So she lined up the tail. What happened?
Nothing. Jam.
It was jammed is the right word.
Chicken
Jammed.
bomb,
Jammed
though.
salt. Well, by this time, Winnie was a bit worn out. She'd gone 4 fields away down by the street. She thought, I better go home. Oh no. Something terrible had happened. Look that way. No, her mum wasn't there. No, look that way. No, mum. Look over. Where's her mum? Children, she'd got lost. She didn't know where her mum was. Neither did the duck know. Neither did the horse know. The sheep know. The donkey know. None of them knew.
Cow
Oh, and look, can you see look, should we do a tear? A little tear. Oh, I know. You should be reading this story. You're that good.
I have.
And I know.
I got it.
And so she said, I've lost my mum completely. But she then heard a sound. Shh. Yeah. There was, woof. It was deeper. Woof. And she thought, her little ear shot up. Put your ear forward. She knew that. It was her mum coming towards her, rushing to find her. And the minute she saw her, she kissed, she cuddled, she cuddled, she kissed, she kissed, she cuddled. And her mum went, look, what was happening?
Her tail was wagging.
And when he said, is it? She looked up. She said, but I'm not trying. And her mum said, that's when your tail wags, when you're not trying. And she said, I can't stop it. It was just go. Can we have tails wagging like mad? Can we? She said, I'm out of control. It was just,
Like this.
and all the other animals were so happy. Look, can you swish like the horse? Can you flick like the cow? Can you twirl like the donkey?
Boing.
Oh, that's gorgeous twirling. Can you wiggle like the duck? Oh, that's lovely. And can you vibrate and shake like the sheep? Vibrate. Well, they were so happy. And do you know what? Winnie's mum said, I'm going to call you a new name. Your new name is Winnie.
Wagtail.
It is Winnie Wagtail. And do you know what? She hasn't stopped wagging since. It's just been endless wagging. And that's the story of Winnie Wagtail. Winnie Wagtail, perfect for movement. The whole story was about wagging and swishing and twirling. So you know you can't sit still with a story like that. In fact, the very story says to you, get up and wag. So always make a good use of movement. But I hope you noticed I didn't go straight into the story. Really important that you actually set the scene. Get the children ready for their story. So I asked some questions about Have you got a puppy? Have you? So never start the story until you know the children are really focused and ready for it. And then, of course, yeah, there was loads of movement, but there was also a chance for sound effects. How can you swish in silence? Swish and twirl. So really build on sound effects wherever you can. It was also a great story for vocabulary. Now, if you see a lovely word in a story, always stop and say, well, what does a twirl look like? What is a swish? Lovely verbs throughout the story and a chance to extend your children's vocabulary. But the thing I like about Winnie Wagtail is it does give you a chance to talk about an issue. Little Winnie wandered off away from her mum. Lovely chance to talk about the importance of staying safe. And lots of stories do deal with issues. So never miss a moment like that, because it can be a real chance to have time to talk with your children. And all I can say is, it's a waggy tale, so get wagging and enjoy it.